The inevitable has happened. Clayton Kershaw, the face of the franchise, a baseball legend and maybe the greatest Dodger of all time, has announced he'll retire at the end of this season.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's time for Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It's the end of an era. Clayton Kershaw, one of the best pitchers to ever touch a baseball, will finish his career at the end of the 2025 season. Does the timing of this announcement put more pressure on the team to deliver in October? And how will the team use him in the postseason? This and more in today's episode, which is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Go to 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. Travis, it was going to happen sooner rather than later, but as Dodgers fans, it's still hard, man.
It is. It's one of those things, you know it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen probably sooner than later. You knew that, quite frankly, any day there was a possibility of an announcement like this coming along. But when it finally did, it was a wow kind of moment because he had I keep having to remind myself here, we got to talk in the present tense, is having such an amazing career.
He's Travis Rodgers. I'm Harry Ruiz, two guys who talk sports for a living and bleed Dodger blue for life. You can get more Travis on 710 ESPN LA or the ESPN LA app from 3 to 6 p.m. with the Travis and DeMarco Show. As for me, I'm the Spanish play-by-play broadcaster for the USC Football Trojans and the Las Vegas Raiders. Check their games out in Spanish this weekend, USC Game Day app and the Raiders app. But nothing beats jumping on the mic every weekday morning and diving deep into what I love most, talking Dodger baseball with you. And we want you to be a part of our show. Hit us up on the Locked On Dodgers listener line. Give us your favorite Kershaw stories, what he means to you as a fan, what kind of impact he left with you. 279-3-LOCKED or 279-356-2533. If you're watching the show, it's right down on the ticker, the whole show. You can either leave us a voicemail or a text, and you might be featured in our show. Leading off, the last non-Kershaw thing we talk about in today's show, scoreboard watching time. The Padres lost 6-1 in Queens against the Mets, and for the first time in a while, the Dodgers actually took advantage of it by beating the Giants 2-1, extending their lead in the NL West to 3 games. Los Angeles' magic number to clinch the division is down to 6, and will clinch a postseason spot with their next win, which could come tonight, Friday, in what will be Clayton Kershaw's final regular season start at Dodger Stadium. So, let's go. Clayton Kershaw. He officially announced that the 2025 season, his 18th in Major League Baseball, will be his last. He's not just a Dodgers legend. He's a legend in the sport. The best pitcher of his generation, in my opinion, and he gets to go out in his own terms, Travis. That's my favorite part right now.
Yeah, I mean, Harry, you and I, we could sit here for hours and talk about our favorite parts, and I don't think anybody would be wrong about any of it because there are so many of them. Like you said, this is a man who has had 18 seasons in the major leagues, and I was looking at his baseball reference page yesterday, and of those 18 seasons, he really only had one season that could even remotely be described as bad, and it wasn't bad. It just wasn't Clayton Kershaw-esque, and that was last year, and he only threw 30 innings, and he got hurt. So you could easily throw that out. This is a guy that's been pitching since 2008. It's 2025. He's got an ERA this season of 3.5. He's got a 10-2 record. He's the reason they are competing for a division title. Without him, God only knows where they would be. And then, of course, that's just what's happening now. It's an MVP. It's 3 Cy Youngs. It's 11 All-Star games. It's a no-hitter that should have been a perfect game. There's just the list of accomplishments that this man has put together is virtually endless. And I think you're right. I think this is the end of an era. I really do not think we're going to see too many guys like him. And hopefully Paul Skeens becomes a great pitcher, or Tarek Skubal continues to do what he does in their respective places. But for Dodger fans, it's going to be a long time, if ever, you see somebody like this again.
And here you go, Travis. Paul Skeens, he's incredible. He's going to be incredible. He's not going to play his entire career with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
No.
Scuball is incredible. He's not going to play his entire career with the Tigers. Kershaw, 18 years, each one of them with the Dodgers, even with the temptation of going back home to Dallas and playing with the Rangers, his hometown team, he stayed with the boys in blue. And that's unheard of in today's game. He's the last pitcher also. You mentioned the MVP. He's the last pitcher to win the MVP, the National League MVP back in 2024. He's the Dodgers' all-time strikeout leader, second all-time in wins for the franchise. And every time you look at the record books, his name shows up somewhere at near the top when it comes to ERA, when it comes to wins, when it comes to appearances. I was reading a stat that he has more outings where he actually had shutouts than losses in his career. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. And to your credit, Travis, when you were saying going up over his baseball reference page, I was doing the same thing yesterday to say something where I was like, this is his best season since. And then I was like, well, crap, that was his best season since 2023, where he had a 2.46 ERA. Right. It's not like he had years where it was like, oh man, that was rough. Back then he might have been thinking about retiring.
Yeah, there are some guys that play a long time, but the end of the line is they're kind of just holding on and they're just in it because they don't have anything better to do. And there's somebody that's willing to pay them a little bit of money to go here or go there. And that has never been the case with this guy. You mentioned it, he spent his entire career with the LA Dodgers. And look, I get it. You're biased. I'm biased. We're Dodger fans. And we look at the Dodgers in a certain way that maybe somebody else doesn't. But I think if we all were honest about this and said, name the 5 teams in Major League Baseball that matter, the Dodgers are on the list. They're probably number 2 behind the New York Yankees. They are that iconic. So to spend your entire career with any team is an incredible accomplishment. To spend your entire career with the LA Dodgers is a whole nother level. And we were talking on my radio show yesterday about the guys that kind of check that box of universal admiration, universal love. And it's not just a great player, but it's somebody that hits you in the feels. Like when you hear the name, everybody goes, oh man, I love that guy. And it's Magic, it's Kobe, it's Jerry West. It's probably Sandy Koufax, as Don Drysdale, and Clayton Kershaw. I mean, they're just Fernando Valenzuela, even though he left. I know he's my favorite Dodger of all time, but there just aren't very many of these guys. And he's still, this is not a, hey, just throw him a bone so he can stay on the team. This is a guy that has contributed in a major, major way to a team that at least, fingers crossed, has a chance to go and win his 3rd World Series for him.
Here's a list of LA icons that I put up together in my point of view. Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Fernando Valenzuela, Wayne Gretzky. He played nearly half of his career in LA. Marcus Allen, who won a Super Bowl with the LA Raiders and the Heisman Trophy with USC. And then I also added Venus and Serena Williams, who put the sport of tennis like big time out of Compton. So shout out to them. He's that level of athlete. He's one of the most accomplished pros this city has ever seen. And then you talk about the world, it's the same case. I mean, Dodgers history, you got to put him up there with Sandy, with Jackie Robinson, with Fernando, and be like, man, you put the longevity of his career and how good he was compared to Sandy and to Jackie. And it's like, man, he more than likely is the greatest Dodger of all time.
Yeah, I think, it's kind of a hacky radio bit to do, but I think it's effective at times to kind of, who is the Mount Rushmore of LA Dodgers? And I think it's actually kind of easy when you stop and you think about it. It's clearly Jackie Robinson is at the top of the heap. And then I think the next 3 are pretty obvious too. And oddly enough, they're all left-handed pitchers. It's Koufax, Valenzuela, and it's Kershaw. Those are the guys because they all have, Jackie is Jackie. I think everybody knows what that means. So we'll put Jackie over there. But Sandy Koufax, for a certain generation of Dodger fans, the first wave of Los Angeles Dodger fans had Koufax as their guy. He only played here. He won the World Series. He threw 4 no-hitters. He had a perfect game. He was the greatest left-hander of his era, but it was a relatively short window. And then you have Fernando Valenzuela, who not only was a great player, I know he left and played for a lot of different teams, but the cultural impact he had in the city of Los Angeles, the way that he brought Mexican fans and Latino fans into Dodger Stadium, that they're still there today and they are rabid Dodger fans. That is in large part because of Fernando Valenzuela and what he brought. So that's an easy one too. And then it's just Kershaw because of the awesomeness. I mean, it's just 18 years of being the guy in a league that is tilted towards offense, that is more and more about hitting home runs. And Clayton Kershaw just continued to set guys down for 18. Like Sandy Koufax's peak was about 5 years long. Fernando Valenzuela's peak was about 5 years long. Kershaw's is 18 years long. It is just an extraordinary run. And, you know, we could probably do this another time, but I really think there are only two left-handed pitchers in the history of baseball that you can just say, oh, yeah, they were better than Clayton Kershaw, and that's Randy Johnson and Steve Carlton. Anybody else, we have a conversation to have, and that includes Koufax, that includes a lot of other guys, but that's the sort of space that Clayton Kershaw occupies.
Now, and here you go. I'm pretty sure you're going to say the same names as I am or that I have in mind. Who are the other two pitchers that are in the conversation for the greatest pitchers of their generation at the same time as Kershaw?
It's Verlander and Scherzer.
Justin Verlander. Tigers, Astros, Mets, Astros, Giants. Yeah. Scherzer. Diamondbacks, Tigers, Nationals, Dodgers, Mets, Rangers, Blue Jays.
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect to their legacies. They're first ballot Hall of Famers in my book, too. Yeah. Clayton Kershaw, the credit of doing it with the team that drafted him, the team that got him up there, getting all the history and the way that he has played throughout his career with pretty much no down year besides the 2024 season because of injury. It's something where it's like, man, you got to give him credit where credit is due. He's got 2 World Series rings in his pocket. And the most important part, in my opinion, go and look the way that his teammates revere him, the way that his teammates treat him, where it's like, I'm in the same clubhouse as Clayton Kershaw. I'm going to enjoy it. Or Ben Wardfett right now, like his first year with the Dodgers, and he's catching all these great pitchers, and for him, it's so like, damn, I'm with Kershaw, man.
Yeah, no, look, you hear like they've got a locker, a clubhouse full of Hall of Famers, right? That Mookie Betts is walking straight into the Hall of Fame. Shohei Ohtani is walking straight into the Hall of Fame. Freddie Freeman is walking straight into the Hall of Fame. Quite frankly, Dave Roberts is walking straight into the Hall of Fame. Kershaw's different. And because of all the things we've talked about, because he has only been a Dodger, because he has conducted himself in a way that I think everybody respects. And you're right. You hear people talk about him. And I know we're going to talk about this coming up in our next segment. I do think that the timing of all of this was a little strategic to try to, get everybody going a little bit.
And look, if Mariano Rivera is the only player in baseball history to get unanimously into the Hall of Fame, I have a feeling there's going to be 1 or 2 haters that won't put Kershaw unanimously in there. But now, for the first time, Dodgers fans know that there's an expiration date. There's no maybe next year. This is it. One final ride for number 22. And let's be real, the Dodgers haven't been playing their base baseball the past couple of months, but now that their most respected leader has put his retirement date on the calendar, next on Locked On Dodgers, does that crank up the pressure on this team to repeat as champions? This episode is brought to you by Zippix Toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zippix has you covered with their nicotine and caffeine-infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, Zippix provides a discreet way to satisfy cravings and the hand-to-mouth habit without vaping or smoking. Zippix can be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping. Available in 6 great flavors with 2 milligrams and 3 milligram nicotine options. And if you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are a game changer. I've used the caffeine toothpicks before my back and forth drive to LA to call USC games. They give me energy without the jitters, and the flavors like peppermint watermelon ice taste great. Go to ZippixToothpicks.com. Use the code LOCKEDON for 10% off your first order. Must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's ZippixToothpicks.com. Promo code LOCKEDON. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix Toothpicks. Thanks for making us your first listen wherever you may be tuning in, either on your favorite podcast app or our YouTube channel. Subscribe, smash that notification bell so you never miss a beat. It's completely free. Full episodes, hot takes, breaking Dodgers news, and the Dodgers postcast show with Pete Fox live after the final out of every game. If it drops, you're on it. That's how you become an everydayer here on Locked On Dodgers. All right, let's dig into the timing. Clayton Kershaw could have waited until the season was over to make this announcement. Heck, that's what has happened the last couple of years. Wait during the offseason for Kersh to eventually sign a one-year deal. Instead, he does it now, right before the postseason, at a time when the Dodgers are heading into the wild card for the first time since 2021. And now remember, since 2013, this team has made the postseason every single year. That's 12 straight appearances. In 10 out of those 12, they've gone directly to the division series 10 times. The only exceptions, 2020, when the pandemic forced everyone into the wild card round, and 2021 when they won 106 games. This year, they're back in that position, Travis. And truthfully, the past couple of months haven't been the brand of Dodger baseball that fans have gotten used to.
No.
The results haven't been dominant. The consistency hasn't been there. So does Kershaw's retirement announcement, is that the ultimate rallying cry? Is this the spark that flips the switch?
It was the first thing that came to my mind. I mean, when I saw the announcement, I'm like, okay. Because I think what's important to know here and important to think about is Clayton Kershaw is not a big fanfare. Look at me. I'm the center of attention. I need you to tell you all how much you love me. And look, I'm going to do it because I don't give a, you know what? He's not LeBron James. Okay. He's not somebody that has to be the center. Like over here. Look at me. He's not that. He is a guy that wants to go out there and do his job, win a bunch of games, be a great teammate, and keep it moving. That he did do it in a way where everybody stopped and said, whoa, that the event at Dodger Stadium tonight, the game at Dodger Stadium tonight, which could potentially be the last time he pitches there, it is exceptionally likely the last time he starts a game there. It may be the very last time he ever plays there. It's coming up tonight. So I do think that the Dodgers wanted to maximize that opportunity to let fans know that, hey, look, this is an opportunity to come see, who I think a lot of people is their favorite player, pitch in a home uniform. But I agree with you, Harry. I think this is hey, fellas, let's go get one more of these. I'm done. This is my last time around the track. This is the last time that I'm going to do this. We're good enough to go win the World Series, but we haven't played like it. We're going to have to get better. We're going to have to find a way to tighten up, everything. The defense needs to get better. The base running needs to get better. The timely hitting needs to be better. More than anything else, the bullpen needs to be better. But I think Clayton Kershaw is the one guy that can kind of look around that room, and he doesn't even need to say it. But just everybody understands that, hey, look, 22 is his last ride. Let's make sure that he goes out on top. I think that's a very likely scenario because otherwise I think he would have done what you suggested, which is somewhere in the middle of December, there's an announcement that Clayton Kershaw will not return to the Dodgers next year. Maybe they do a press conference at Dodger Stadium at spring training or whatever it is. But that they did what they did yesterday, I think is meaningful.
Yeah, and I remember when Kobe Bryant retired, I felt that year that he was going to retire, and I actually went to the Lakers home opener that year against the Mavericks. I'm pretty sure it was, and I was like, I need to watch Kobe Bryant play one more time before he retires, and the ticket prices go ridiculous. With Kershaw, he's giving everybody one last chance. Kobe gave more than half the season for the fans to go and support him and show him love home and away. In this case, it's going to be okay. The focus is on Kershaw tonight, which, by the way, it's ridiculous that game is on Apple TV. I hope that MLB does something, either MLB Network.
Hey, look, here's the problem with that, and I'm with you, Harry. It's a drag because I know not everybody has Apple TV, but Apple would be crazy to give it away. How many people do you think sign up for Apple TV just to watch this? Hey, I'll be honest. I signed up for Apple TV early in the season because the Dodgers had a random Friday night game on and I wanted to see it. I forgot to cancel it. I still have it. And I think that's their entire game plan. And that's how it's going to roll. So I hope everybody gets to see it. But if I'm Apple, I'm holding on to that thing tight.
Yeah, I mean, share that login info, Travis, because I'll save Apple for it because, man, and that's the crazy part. Folks are going to start streaming it otherwise just to be able to watch it. And I'm like, let people just be able to enjoy greatness. And Kobe let everybody more than half a year to watch him home and away. Kershaw is giving you one chance now and more than likely one chance in Seattle. Yeah. And that's it. That's all we know we're going to get from him.
You brought up Kobe a couple of times. I was lucky enough to be at Kobe's last game at Staples Center against the Jazz, where he dropped 60 on him, and it was a weird night, Harry. And I'll tell a quick story because I'm hoping we get something similar with Clayton Kershaw tonight against the Giants. Kobe got off to a really bad start in that game. Like he was missing a bunch of shots that he would typically make. He looked a step slow. Like it's like, oh boy, Kobe can't go out like this, can he? Like this is a really rough look. And then we all know how it ended. He had 60 and went absolutely nuclear in the second half. So hopefully Kershaw, the great players, they usually do have that gear to find a way to close the show in a meaningful way. So I'm really hopeful that Clayton Kershaw can do something similar.
Of course. And look, the Dodgers rotation, they don't lack talent. They have abundance of talent right now in their rotation, unlike last year where they were like struggling to get starters in there. Look at these guys: Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Shohei Ohtani, Emmett Sheehan. They've got the horses, and the last couple of weeks they've been pitching incredibly. And Kershaw now, by making this announcement, he might have given them the exact motivation that they needed, because this isn't just about winning another title, in my opinion. I think the storyline changes from the Dodgers trying to become the first team in nearly 3 decades to go back-to-back World Series championships to be like, let's send Clayton Kershaw out on top. Because for me, the franchise is going to say, no, the team, and Kershaw is going to say too, the team is above me. It's the team success above me. Me as a fan, as someone who I moved back from living in Mexico for 12 years in 2010. So I caught pretty much everything from Kershaw while I was living in LA, then moved to El Paso, Vegas. I've been there. I got my bobbleheads. I got autographs. I got my autographed jersey, my picture with Kershaw. And it's like, this is my guy. I know that rest in peace, my buddy Alex, who used to go to Dodgers games at the Coliseum, Dodgers Stadium when it opened, his guy was Koufax.
Yeah.
My dad's guy was Fernando. My guy is Kershaw. Like, for me, that's the guy I got to watch his entire career. And for me, it's like, I don't care about back-to-back. I care about Kershaw getting to pitch in the postseason when the Dodgers win a 162-game World Series.
I really, really hope that the baseball gods, who I believe in, I really, truly believe that they're out there and they care about story and they care about, symmetry. And this would be a great way to close what has been a bizarre season and to close one of the great careers of all time with him, like you said, Harry, not just winning another World Series, but being an important part of another World Series.
Exactly. And look, the Dodgers playoff rotation is stacked. Coming up on Locked On Dodgers, where does that leave Kershaw in his final postseason? What will his role be once October begins?
This episode of Locked On Dodgers is brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. We're making decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. And football is in full swing. And Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes. And you get it all done in less than 60 seconds. I love looking at the quarterback numbers. I love seeing what the passing yardage is, and then I just decide more or less. For instance, Josh Allen, more or less than 270 yards. Saquon Barkley this week against the Rams, more or less than a rushing touchdown. That's how easy it is at Prize Picks. More or less on 2 to 6 players, and boom, you can win. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-Hour Energy Shots delivers tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. And what I love most about 5-Hour Energy is just how portable, right? They're just the little teeny tiny shots, big taste, tiny shot, and you can take it anywhere, throw it in your briefcase, put it in your pocket. You're not even going to know what's in there, and you get the boost that you want. I like, I'm a golf guy, right? Love the transfusion. It reminds me of being out on the golf course, even when I got to go get some work done or hang around the house and make sure I get my honeydew list done. That's why I always love going for that transfusion flavor. So, and it just boop, ready to go. I take them because of the portability. I take them because of the size, how quickly the impact takes on. It's sugar-free. They don't have a weird taste. All of those things about 5-Hour Energy are just some of the reasons that I absolutely love it. So enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-Hour Energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in store and online at www.5hourenergy.com or Amazon today.
Don't forget to follow Locked On Dodgers not only on YouTube, but on X, Instagram, and TikTok as well. You can find Travis on social media at Travis Rodgers on X and Instagram. Meanwhile, I'm at Harry Ruiz on X, at Harry_Ruiz on Instagram, and at Harry Ruiz_ on TikTok. So here's where things get interesting. We know who the Dodgers' main starters are going to be this postseason. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, and Shohei Ohtani. That's as loaded a top 4 guys as you will find anywhere in baseball. So where does that leave Clayton Kershaw? Let's look at the numbers. He's made 20 starts this year, over 102 innings. He's got a 3.53 ERA with a 10-2 record. For a 37-year-old in his 18th season, that's really, really good. A lot of teams wish they had a pitcher with these numbers as one of their main pieces of their rotation. With the Dodgers, it's an embarrassment of riches. The problem here is, do you trust him to take the ball in Game 4 of a division series over Ohtani? Probably not. Do you bump one of the top 4 out of the rotation? No. So that means more than likely, Travis, that Kershaw becomes the ultimate X factor, a bullpen weapon.
It's just surreal that here we are all over again. We've seen Clayton Kershaw in starting roles in the postseason and thrive. We've seen him in starting roles where it didn't go great. We've seen him come out of the bullpen in situations and do really well. We've seen him come out of the bullpen in certain situations and have it be a disaster. I mean, you think about Washington a few years ago. He's going to be a part of it. I think it's really difficult to predict which part of it he's going to be. I think the only thing that you can feel pretty certain about, and again, I'm knocking on wood and I'm crossing my fingers, I don't think he's going to have a start unless somebody gets hurt, unless something very, very weird happens where you need to go to him. I know for a long part of the season we're talking about, is he even going to make the playoff roster? It's almost a certainty that he will, because you're going to really need him at some point. But in what capacity do they do that piggyback thing where they put 2 starters together and try to cover the whole game and eliminate or at least drastically reduce the use of the bullpen? Could he be used in an opener situation? Like if you have a weird game where you got to do something, do you throw him for an inning or 2 and then bring in Sheehan and see how much he can do if you've got that, that left-right heavy lineup that you're trying to match up with in a certain situation? But I think the only thing you can be certain of is he will pitch. It will be important innings, and we'll all have our fingers crossed, because we've seen anything under the sun with Clayton Kershaw in the postseason. We've seen great, we've seen terrible, and we've seen everything in between. So, buckle up. It's going to be a ride, and every Dodger fan in the world will be pulling for this guy.
And let's remember, he's not unfamiliar with coming out of the bullpen in the postseason. He's pitched in relief 7 times in the playoffs. 4 of those appearances scoreless. The last time, though, that he came out of the pen in the postseason was in 2019. And let's not forget, sometimes those October relief appearances can be legendary. Think Madison Bumgarner. Think Randy Johnson.
Think
Walker Buehler, exactly. And one thing that I love from Walker Buehler that postseason last year was that when he went on Mookie Betts' podcast, is like he said, why did he go to the Dodgers front office, to Dave Roberts, and say, hey, I'm available? Because he asked himself, what would Kershaw do? Yeah. That's the type of reverence, the type of respect, the type of admiration the guys in that clubhouse have for him. And it's like, hey, if we need to go to the bullpen and have an inning here or there. So that's the question right there. Dave Roberts and the Dodgers have to answer. Do you have him? Do you give him a defined role, like a long reliever, a spot starter, a part of the starting rotation, or do you keep him as a wild card and just be like, Kershaw is going to be ready whenever we need him?
I think you could do the first thing if you had any sort of faith in your bullpen at all, but you don't. So I think he has to be used as that wild card, that, break in case of emergency, go to Clayton Kershaw, because there will be a situation where one of those great starting pitchers that we're talking about has a bad day, right? Where all of a sudden, it's the third inning and you got to go get him, that he's getting knocked around. And in the playoffs, hooks come a lot sooner than they do in the regular season. So if you have a starting pitcher that gives up, let's say, 3 or 4 runs through 3 innings, they're coming out of the game. They're not going to let them ride that out. And I think that's a place where you could see Clayton Kershaw come into the game and try to settle things down. It could be hey, look, our starter was lights out for 7 innings. We got to get through the 8th before we hand it off in the 9th. That could be a Clayton Kershaw situation where he comes in and you just know, lean on his experience, lean on his moxie, his guile, whatever we want to call it, lean on that incredible slider that he's struck out over 3,000 guys with in his career. But like I said, the only thing I know for sure, Harry, is that he's going to pitch, and he's going to pitch in a moment that it matters a great deal. I don't know if it'll be early, middle, or late, but he's going to pitch, and it's going to matter.
And look, you can't treat Clayton Kershaw like just another arm. This is a Hall of Famer. This is the face of your franchise. This is a guy whose jersey is worn by half of the stadium every time that he is out there on the mound, and it's his last ride. So I'm putting it out there in the universe. Game 5, World Series, Dodger Stadium. Kershaw's out there in the 9th inning, and he throws the last pitch, a strikeout for the Dodgers to go back to back.
Hope so.
That'll do it for today's Locked On Dodgers. What do you think? Did Kershaw's announcement light a fire under this team? And how would you use him in the postseason? Starter, reliever, or somewhere in between? Let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube or on social media, or also by hitting us up directly in our listener line, 279-3-LOCKED or 279-356-2533. If you're still craving more baseball talk, have the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night be your second listen. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find it on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, we'll be back on Monday with there being a really good chance that the Dodgers will have a spot clinched in the postseason and even closer to get the divisional crown once again. Travis, we both want to be at Dodger Stadium tonight. Hopefully we find some way somehow to be there.
I'm optimistic. I got my feelers out. I got my people working on some things. And by my people, I mean I'm scouring the internet. We'll see what it comes together. I really hope to be there. If I'm there, we'll put up some pictures on the socials.
Go to Game Time. Get your tickets there. We appreciate you riding with us. Until next time, keep it real. Keep it Dodger Blue.